Hello and welcome back to the Prep Talk Podcast. Today I am your host, Shayna Davis, and our guest is.
My name is Eric Lindsay. I'm a senior at UPA High School, and I like acting.
That's my boy. This is my friend, y'all. Today we will be talking about generational impacts. So, to start this conversation off, what kind of impact do you think the generations before you, behaviors and choices will have on your generation and outlook on living your best life?
When talking about the effects that their behavior and choices had or will have on my generation, I can't really describe it in a few words or even a few sentences because it's already we've already seen some of the effects that their choices in the past have made or have how it has shaped the world today.
Give an example of what you mean.
Okay, for example, Martin Luther King's I Had a Dream speech that brought together whites and blacks from all around the world just to hear his speech. And moving forward with the civil rights movement, it not only had people of color, but also white people supporting it. And it's just, if Martin Luther King never gave that speech, who's to say that, blacks and whites would have ever been able to cooperate?
Mm-hmm.
And looking at the effect that it has now, the Black Lives Matter movement is bigger than it's ever been before. And it's not just black people fighting for our lives anymore, but it's also white people in every race around the world.
Mm-hmm. On that topic, I agree with you. I feel like there are uh, positives and negatives to what the generation before us has given to us, because I know that what I agree with what you're saying, that's a positive to it. Like the Black Lives Matter movement is bigger than ever. But then you also, like, I've been hearing that hate is taught. Hate is taught. Hate is not a genetic, you know what I'm trying to say, a genetic, not mutation, but it doesn't just travel through
You
generations.
wasn't born to hate or you wasn't born racist, but instead you're taught it.
Yes. So I feel like, there are good things and there are bad things that generations before us has taught us. I know for a fact that there are some things that run in my family that I feel like I should continue, um, because it has had a great um, impact on me, should I say, and I feel like it could be a great impact on my family and the generations to come. So, do you have anything else to say?
Um, I do certainly agree with you that there are positive and negatives. Um, I don't feel like you can try to compare the positives and the negatives because I feel like at times they're going to be more positive than negatives, and I feel like at other times negatives will always outweigh the positives. It's just you gotta look at everything as a whole and know what it means and what to do with it.
So, see the bigger picture.
Exactly.
I feel it. Okay. What age do you feel that you would truly be an adult? Not because legally you're 18, but, what is your definition of an adult?
Um, Many people may not agree with me, but I honestly feel like no one is an adult. I feel like everybody are just bigger children. And I say that because people got many definitions on what an adult is. Once I pass 18, once I pass 21, once I buy my first house or get my first car or go to college or, have my first kid. But I feel like no one is truly an adult because nobody truly grows out of their childish phase. I just feel like people become bigger children. And the reason I say no one is really an adult because, once you pass the age of 21, your mama gonna always tell you, no matter how old you are, you still my baby.
Oh, I feel that. Okay. I never even thought about that. Yep, because my dad, he will always say, no matter how old you get, you always gonna be my baby girl. I feel
Or
that.
even in other terms, I just feel like who truly knows what makes you an adult? I mean, who set the limits on what an adult is? Who said do this and you're an adult? Everybody say you pass 18, you pass 21, you're an adult, but who said that was right?
Right.
So
Yep.
I just kind of feel like everybody are just bigger children, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because I heard that once you turn 18, you're not an adult technically because number one, you probably still living in your mama's house. Number two, you can't drink. Number three, you probably don't you can't go to the club, you can't go to the casino, you can't do nothing. Not until you're 21. But when you're 21, once you actually do it, will you continue to feel like doing it?
Right.
So I
And then two
definitely
people be like, now I gotta, yeah.
okay, so based on what generations before have taught us, at what age is a good age to date, and for what purpose do you, yeah, and for what purpose?
I can't. Mm. So I just want to start this off by saying I don't know too much about religions, any religion. So I don't want to offend anybody. I just know that in certain religions there are things such as like arranged marriages where kids, boy or girl, can be married off at like the age of 10. I even heard of a case where a little boy was married off at the age of 8. And I know that's kind of different, but I can't really say what's an appropriate age to date. I just feel like if you make that decision, then the decision is made, but you got to be ready for the consequences that may come with that decision.
Preach, sir.
I know some parents be like, well, my kid can date at 16, but they can't have sex. Or they be like, my kid can date at 16, but it can only go as far as dating, like over texting or calling. Y'all can't ever meet each other in person. And it's just like, with all these rules and things in place, I just like there is no appropriate age to date. You just do it or you don't do it, but you got to be ready to accept whatever comes with that.
Because kids are gonna do what they want regardless.
Right.
Like I've heard adults say that multiple times. Kids are gonna do what they want regardless. If there's a will, there's a way.
Even if
Nah,
it's not, go ahead.
so I mean, like for me, like I have different. I say my view of dating isn't based on religion. I feel because now what our generation does defines a date as now I don't like, which is why I don't want to date right now. I think I would have to be older and more mature to go on a real date and be pleased with the outcome before I can actually call it a date. Because I don't like the way that our I don't like the way our generation makes the way that we go on dates okay.
I
'Cause I feel
I feel
like
what you're talking about.
They right, because we can't just go to the movies anymore and it be okay. We can't go to the movies and go out to dinner or go out to lunch and that just be okay.
Now, there's always something at the end that makes it not a date, but more of a hookup.
Right. And I'm not that type of female. Like you gotta meet my parents and certain certain other people, they don't want to meet your family. And I'm like, well, if my family does not like you, I'm afraid that I don't like you, you know. But that's only to a certain extent, because if
Right.
I see something that they don't see, I need it's up to myself to make them see what I see. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I've explained that to certain people and they are looking at me like, what are you talking about? Like, but I'm like, I value my family's opinion.
Right.
I'm a family oriented person, and I have
Especially if it's like,
two different families.
right.
Well, you gotta meet all four of my parents. So, you know, so what traditions that the generation before you has done would you continue or discontinue? And how has that tradition impacted you?
Okay. Can you give me an example of exactly what you mean by traditions?
So, like, okay, every year, my mom has this tradition where for Christmas, we would have a tree trimming party. Now, I don't know why she calls it tree trimming when we already have a tree, but that's not the point. The point is, she would have our family come over and we would wrap gifts, watch Christmas movies, and eat cookies and, just spend time as a family. And vice versa, my dad, his tradition for us on Christmas Eve is he makes home movies where he would take pictures and take videos during the year of events that we do and put it all together into like a movie and we will watch it at the end of the year. So I feel like I want to continue certain traditions that we have in our household and continue those into my family. So that's what I'm asking you.
Um, the only tradition that we really do every year is for Christmas we take family photos. And I would continue that tradition because I would want to see not only my growth but also my kids or just my family's growth over the years. Um, but we don't do it every year, and I would want to do it every year, but I would also want to do it for other holidays also. How you said your dad take like home, like how he take pictures and videos and put it all together, that's something that I would want to do that we don't do now. So instead of continuing traditions that we already have, I would actually want to introduce new traditions if I ever start my own family.
Okay, that actually sounds nice. Making your own traditions for your own family, friends, and family. I'm a friend. I'm playing, but you can include me if you want to. But that sounds like a good plan, Eric. Okay, so this is my favorite one right here. So with the tools that you have today, do you feel you have a better or worse position than the generations before you? So I'm talking like technology based. So phones, laptops, and It don't even have to be that. But with the tools that you have today, are you in a better or a worse position than the generations before you?
Um, I feel like any normal person would answer better instantly, but me being me, I kind of feel like in certain areas I'm in a worse position. Um,
And why do you feel that way?
we have great technology, like we got self-driving cars. They working on the production of um, AI robots. Um, it's a lot of great things in the world, but when I learn about certain things and I learn about like the Mayans and the Aztecs, how they had like special languages and they had maths that people couldn't understand, and how they survived like illnesses and diseases with like pork. Like I don't. It just makes me wonder, could that be incorporated into today's technology? And it just makes me wonder, like, how did they survive for so long? Whereas, people nowadays sometimes don't even make it to the age of 50. So I don't I don't really know if these two are connected, but sometimes I just feel like in certain areas we are worse.
Mm, okay. Um, my aspect of it, sometimes yeah, I would say worse, but with the person that we have in office right now, we are definitely worse. Like like times are so bad right now. I feel like, especially with the people of color, because our lives are in danger. And there has never been a time where I have been so scared that the police pulled up behind us and was literally just driving. I kid you not, I'm driving with my mom. Well, I'm not driving, but I'm in the back seat with my mom. She's driving, and a police comes up on the side of us, looks at us, sees the color of our skin, goes, slows down, and gets in the back of us. And my heart is pounding because I feel that they're about to pull us over. Thank God he didn't, because we were doing everything that we were supposed to do. But because of everything that is going on around the world right now, my mind went straight there. And that was so scary for me. I want to live in a world where I don't have to worry about the color of my skin getting me killed. So yeah, I would say in some areas our generation is better because, like, my dad and my mom's generation, they didn't grow up with the phones that we have. They had to do the
Little turn thing.
yeah, the dial, the
Yep.
little circle phones. I can't even think of what they're called. I've only seen one in my entire life. So we are very, very blessed to have these iPhones and these Androids. We're lucky to have a phone at all. And the fact that people take that and they run with it and they say, oh, iPhones are better than Androids. And it's like, be lucky that you even have a phone, because guaranteed your parents and grandparents did not grow up with a phone at all.
Exactly.
Let alone, if you're black, some of y'all great great grandparents and great 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 grandparents was probably slaves. And y'all forget that black people marched for us to be free today. And they take everything that they get today for advantage. And that's what I be trying to tell people. Like, you can't take what you have for granted. You have to be grateful and blessed that you have what you have. I'm very thankful, grateful, and blessed to have everything that I have. I have a roof over my head. a bed to sleep in, clothes on my back, food in my tummy, and I'm very thankful to have it. Cause my mama, my daddy, my other dad, and my other mom broke their backs to get it for me. So I will never take what I have for advantage. But guess what? It's spooky season. So we about to switch it up. Halloween is coming up in the next few weeks. And because of COVID, I don't think we're going trick or treating.
I'm
But
not.
I think that I'm going to still dress up in the costume or something like that. But at what age do you feel you should start trick or treating?
You know what? I just feel like, okay, no matter what age you are, you can enjoy Halloween. But going house to house getting candy, that gotta stop. Because I'm tired of the 23-year-olds. No, listen here.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say 23?
Yes, 23-year-olds. Trick or treat.
Like if you gonna take your butt to the store and buy you some candy.
Like, I know I've heard like it stops at 18, but I feel like even then, 18.
See, my view of it was, yeah, I feel it stopped at 18. But then once you got to 18, you started going to Halloween parties.
Right.
Then once you grew out of that, you started having kids. You would carry on and take your kids trick or treating. That's how I've always seen Halloween go. So I don't know, but I still trick or treat. I don't care. I'm 16 years old. Okay. I would still take my butt out and trick or treat, okay?
Maybe
Like,
not now, but
of course not now because of COVID pandemic. But like last year Halloween, we went trick or treating. I was honestly, I don't know what I was. I had makeup on my face. No, I was a biker girl. I was a biker. I just didn't have my leather jacket, and I took my butt out and I trick or treated. Okay, and I had a ball, but it was raining, so I was cold. So, what was your favorite costume to dress up as when you were younger?
favorite costume. I think once I was a vampire. No. Before that, I was Spider-Man, and I had this little webber, and I could web people, and I thought that was so fun to do. Then I was a vampire, and I used to act like I was sucking out people's blood, and they always used to do like a little role play with me. But my favorite one probably had to be when I was a murderer.
Oh my
I
goodness.
forgot who exactly I was. I think I had broke out to like the insane asylum or something like that.
Hmm.
But I was just going around stabbing people, and I just thought it was fun because like I had the little push in blade, but it like had like little red stuff on it, so when I stabbed you, it would leave it there like it was blood.
Hmm. I think my favorite costume had to be when I think I was like 4 years old. Me and my mom both dressed up as vampires, and we had the teeth and we had the little fake blood coming down our mouth, out the side of our mouths. It was so cute. But then when we got to middle school, if you remember when we was in sixth grade, I dressed up as Cleopatra. And that long white dress, and I kept tripping over it up the stairs, and you kept laughing at me. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. I did not talk to you for a couple of days. You made me so mad. You kept laughing at me. Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna ask you: have you ever been to a haunted house?
No,
What?
I've never been to a haunted house.
Well, would you be open to going to one?
Yeah, the closest I didn't got to a haunted house is when we was at elementary school. We used to run around a little building, you
Oh
know,
my,
to get candy from the teachers, and they thought that it was scary.
that was not scary. But haunted houses are pretty cool. I went to a haunted house actually last week. It was called a haunted barn. We went to Blake's Apple Orchard and we went through the haunted barn. It was okay. It was scary to me because I don't like jump scares. I can't get over jump scares. But if I think back to it and I actually analyze what was going on, it's not even that scary. It's not. And because it was a haunted barn, it was like animals jumping out to scare you. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. That's not real. But, haunted houses would be fun with, you know, our friends because, we'll be laughing the entire time.
Right.
So, well, thank you, Eric, for being here. I'm so glad you agreed to it.
You're welcome.
um, we actually had a good conversation, and I applaud you for dealing with my silliness. We will see you next time on the Prep Talk podcast.